We now come to Ben Bradley.
We went to my honourable friend the Minister and to the Home Secretary to be candid about the level of anger and frustration felt by many of my constituents in Mansfield and across the UK at stories we hear about illegal migrants arriving on our shores, being put up in hotels, having endless legal challenges funded at the expense of British taxpayers. But what can we do here at home to ensure that our domestic system for asylum and deportation is seen to be working for British taxpayers? Fundamentally, there has to be major intervention in this asylum system to make it work. Otherwise, you'll continue to have hundreds of people coming across the channel, people dying in the channel every day, and it's not sustainable.
We've got to break this cycle of people feeling that they can get in a boat, pay a people smuggler to take that risky journey from the safe country of France, and then get accommodation and financial support when they get here. As long as you can get that, of course, people will continue to do it. Is asked her to challenge the assertion that Labour members have made in that debate, where they've been saying we shouldn't differentiate in asylum claims based on how people arrive in the UK. Well, forgive me, but that's absolute nonsense. I think it's a fundamental matter of fairness that we treat people differently if they are fleeing from dangerous countries and applying through legitimate and legal asylum routes versus those who are fleeing France.
I want it to be really robust. People often ask why my constituents in Mansfield care so much when they're so far from the sea. It's a fundamental issue of fairness. Why do I bother to work and pay into the system and do my bit when anybody can just show up and take out more than I get? Fundamentally, that speaks to, does this system work for normal working people in the UK? And we've always had this conversation about Britain's place in the world. My constituents would much rather see us have a proper immigration policy that we can actually control than worry about what people in other countries think about it.
Speaker, this weekend a new migrant hotel was set up in my constituency. I was contacted on Sunday and told that it would be happening, future tense. I subsequently found out that it actually happened already on Saturday. And as yet, it's now Wednesday. We still have no details as to who, how long, what is in place around that facility. On Monday morning, several local people presented themselves as homeless, having been kicked out of that same hotel. A right honourable friend must surely agree that this is wrong and untenable, and it will cause a huge amount of anger locally. The government needs to stop this, he knows that. Increasingly, Mr Deputy Speaker, young men are arriving in the UK and then later claiming to be unaccompanied children. At that point, the local authority has to treat them as looked after children, and then claiming to be 17, we then have to look after them until they are 25 years old. The average cost of a looked after child is over £100,000 a year. I think my constituents will be horrified to learn that their council tax is being spent on that it will be impossible for the public to trust that our immigration policies are properly robust and fair for as long as people can arrive here illegally from a safe country and be able to stay here at the expense of UK taxpayers.
Well, my honourable friend hits on a really important aspect of this problem. The majority of them are adult single males. They are not by majority women or children or elderly people, and this claim of being a child is something that we are going to clamp down on.
It's not fair that people can arrive on our shores illegally and get housing and food and bills paid and stay at the taxpayer's expense when the taxpayer, the UK citizen, is grafting and paying tax and doing the right thing but can't get a house, can't pay the bills, can't even get to see their GP. It's not fair we've got hundreds of thousands of people on housing waiting lists when we are buying up flats and hotels for illegal economic migrants. Small boats is not fair. That's fundamentally the case.
Mr. Speaker, I said enough is enough, and I mean it. And that means I am prepared to do what must be done. That if you enter the UK illegally, you should not be able to remain here. Instead, you will be detained and swiftly returned either to your home country or to a safe country where your asylum claim will be considered. And once removed, you should have no right to re-entry, settlement or citizenship. The only way to come to the UK for asylum will be through safe and legal routes. And as we will work with the UNHCR to identify those most in need, so the UK remains a safe haven for the most vulnerable.